Hey, it's Kevin Ward here with Yes Masters Real Estate Success Training, and I got a great question from one of my coaching members who advertises on Trulia and is getting internet leads, internet buyer leads. And the question is, I've been getting a lot of buyer leads who are not ready to buy right now. Their lease doesn't expire until 4 or 5 months from now, and so on. I know you teach to only work with real buyers who are actually going to buy now, but how do I tell them I don't want to show them properties until they're actually ready or in a position to purchase? For some reason, people think it takes months to find the right house. And the reality is it can take months to find the right house, but it's two different issues. One is this a person that has a unique criteria and in a very low inventory market, and sometimes it may just take a while to find the right house because there's so few houses on the market. And that's a little different. If I've got somebody that is absolutely ready, able, and willing to buy a house right now, as soon as we see the right house, they're ready to put an offer on it. That's different than somebody who isn't going to buy a house for 4 or 5 or 6 months because they aren't ready to buy a house. They can't qualify for the loan right now. They're in a lease, or for whatever reason they're not actually ready to buy. So what I teach is you only show people who are actually ready to buy a house. They're ready, they're able, and they're willing. I call them raw buyers. Ready, able, and willing. R.A.W. Raw buyers. That's the kind of buyers you want to show houses to. So the question is, what do you do when they're not ready to buy a house but they want to go look at properties? Well, there are several options. I mean, the first option is you can just go show them properties all they want and go look at all the properties that they want to look at and let them control your life, let them control your time, let them control your income, because you're not going to make any money out showing non-buyers houses. Number two, when you're doing that, you're really not doing a service to the real estate industry, because sellers don't want you showing their house to a buyer that's not going to buy. Sellers want qualified, motivated buyers looking at their houses. That's the only kind of buyers they ever want. Ask a seller. Anytime you take a listing, ask them, would it be okay with you if I show non-motivated, non-qualified buyers your house? And they're going to say, no, I don't want them in my house. I don't want them tramping mud on my carpet. I don't want them in my house. So it's really not a service in our industry to sellers to bring in unqualified, unmotivated buyers. It's not a service to yourself either. So that's one option, though, is you can waste your time doing that. The second option is you can find another agent in your office who's willing and waste their time doing it. And you can find other agents that are willing to do that because they don't have enough business, and they're willing to show these buyers and work with them for 4 or 5 months while they're still non-buyers until they are buyers, and then they'll buy a house occasionally and you'll get paid a referral fee. But in the meantime, you've been able to go on and work with profitable business and finding real sellers and real buyers that you can actually help. And then the third strategy is you educate and lead the buyer, the future buyer, to understand the scenario that you're going to work with them on. So here's how you do that. Is when you meet with them, they've talked to you on the internet, they said, hey, we want to go look at houses and so forth. So the best thing to do is, if you want to work with somebody, is set up a time to talk to them on the phone or actually meet with them. And here's what you do. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to set you guys up. You find out their situation. They're not ready to buy right now. Even if they found a house they love, they're not in a position to purchase it and so forth. So here's what we're going to do. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and set you guys up on an auto search. I have a special feature on my computer that every time a new listing comes up on the MLS that matches your criteria, it will immediately alert me, and I will email you those new listings every time one comes up that matches your criteria, which is awesome because you get first notice of it, and that way you can look at all the MLS, the information on it, all the pictures, the description, and you can drive by and you can take a look at the house, check out the neighborhood, and so forth. Now, we're not actually going to go look at houses right now. Can I tell you why? Well, there's a couple of reasons. The main reason is because you're not ready to buy a house right now. And so what I want you to be able to do is get a look on the MLS, on the properties as they come up, so you get a feel for what's happening in the market. And I want you to be able to drive by and look at them from the outside, see the neighborhood, because that's 50% of picking a house, right? Is being able to find the right neighborhood, the street, the curb appeal, and so forth. And so you start getting familiar with the areas you like, what you don't like, what you can get for the price, and so forth. But the reason we're not going to go look at them yet is because I don't want you to fall in love with a house you can't have. Does that make sense? You see, what happens is, if you find the perfect house and it comes up next week, and you find this perfect house, you fall in love with it, but you can't buy it. And so 6 months from now, when you guys are ready to buy a house, all that is stuck in your mind is the perfect house that we saw 6 months ago that we missed, the one that got away. And then for what happens is, and I've had this happen many times, is buyers are now trying to find a house as perfect as the one that got away. And there's never a house as good as the memory you have of that perfect house that you missed. So I'd hate for that to happen to you, wouldn't you? And that's the conversation you have with them. The second thing is that most sellers request that buyers that people do not, that their house only be shown to people who actually can buy right now. That's just because of the change, just the way, because of security and so forth. Sellers do not want non-buyers, people that aren't ready to buy right now, actually coming in and seeing their houses. That's what open houses are for. And you can go look at open houses and do all of that, have a great time and get familiar with the areas, the market, and so forth. But when you're really ready to buy a house, then we're going to get intense, and we're going to get in there, and we're going to actually go find you the best house, find the one that's perfect for you, and then I'm going to help you buy that house and getting the best terms and price so you can enter your new home with the best terms and price all the way around. Now that's what I do. Is that cool? Because here's what you got to make clear to them. There may be some agents out there that are willing to show non-buyers houses. That happens. That's not the way I work. So I don't get paid for showing houses. I only get paid when I help people that are actually buying a house. I help them actually buy it. I don't get paid until you actually get the keys to your house. That's when I get paid. And so I don't spend, I just can't, it's not a good business decision for me to spend time out showing a lot of houses to people that can't buy them, not to mention that it's bad for the industry. The agents don't want you showing their listings, and the sellers don't want it when you're not actually ready to buy. And so you've just got to be upfront and honest and have a straightforward conversation. Now, if they respect your professionalism, if they respect the fact that you are a professional, then they will accept that. Now, there's still going to be people that don't want to work with you because of that. And I just always said, and this was always my position, said, I appreciate that. I'm probably not the best agent for you because that's just not the way I work. And I just make it clear, I'm not looking to work with people right now that aren't ready to buy right now. I'd love to work with you, but I can't work with you right now. I can't help you. And so you just have to be clear with them on that and be fair and straight. And then the key is that you're out there generating enough business that's real business, sellers and buyers, and that you're spending your time working with the ones that actually are going to do something now. You continue to maintain the relationship, you take care of them, you answer questions for them, you give them information. You just don't need to go out and show a bunch of houses to people that can't buy them. It just doesn't make sense from a business perspective. A lot of agents are going to do it. Your option is you can continue to do it, but if you want to have a great life, make a lot of money, and be profitable, it's not the way to run a business. Hope that helps.